Zarthix stood at the observation deck of the Celestial Commerce Hub, his four amber eyes scanning the crowds below with the practiced indifference of someone who had seen everything the galaxy had to offer. As one of the wealthiest merchants in the Andromeda sector, the Velcoran billionaire had long ago learned that most beings were predictable, their desires simple, and their loyalties negotiable. But then he saw it. A glint of crimson light caught his attention, and his hearts, all three of them, seemed to stop simultaneously. There, weaving through the crowd of merchants and travelers, was a young human woman. She was dressed in worn coveralls, her boots scuffed and her jacket patched in multiple places. But on her left wrist, catching the artificial sunlight of the station, was a bracelet that Zarthix would recognize across 1,000 parsecs. The bracelet of eternal gratitude. His bracelet. Zarthix's clawed hand gripped the railing so tightly that the metal groaned. 43 years ago, a lifetime for humans, barely middle age for Velcorans, he had given that bracelet to a human man named Marcus Chen, a human who had saved his life when no one else would. The memory flooded back with painful clarity. Zarthix had been young then, arrogant, newly wealthy from his first successful trade route. He had made the fatal mistake of flaunting his riches on a backwater station near Earth, and pirates had taken notice. They had cornered him in a cargo bay, their weapons charged and their intentions clear. Marcus Chen had been a dock worker, a nobody by galactic standards. But when he saw what was happening, he hadn't hesitated. The human had grabbed a plasma torch and charged at armed pirates to save a complete stranger from a species he'd never even met before. Marcus had taken a blast to his shoulder, nearly dying, but he had bought enough time for station security to arrive. Zarthix had stayed with Marcus through his recovery, amazed by the human's nonchalance about his own heroism. Someone needed help. Marcus had shrugged when asked why he'd risked his life. What else was I supposed to do? Before leaving, Zarthix had given Marcus the bracelet, a priceless Velcoran artifact that could identify its wearer to any member of Zarthix's family or business network, guaranteeing help, shelter, or resources anywhere in the galaxy. If you or anyone you love ever needs anything, Zarthix had promised, this will bring them to me. Marcus had laughed it off, insisting he didn't need payment for doing the right thing. But he had accepted the gift to make Zarthix feel better. Now, decades later, that bracelet was on the wrist of this struggling young woman. Zarthix activated his personal communicator with trembling fingers. Locate that human, he commanded his security chief, highlighting the woman on the deck below. But do not approach. I will handle this personally. Within minutes, he was descending to the market level, his expensive robes drawing stares and whispers. He found her examining a food stall, clearly counting her meager credits before making a purchase. Excuse me, Zarthix said softly, his translator rendering his words in standard Terran English. The woman turned, her eyes widening at the sight of the towering Velcoran. Up close, Zarthix could see the family resemblance. She had Marcus's strong jawline, his deep brown eyes. But there was also exhaustion there and hunger poorly hidden. I'm not loitering, sir, she said quickly. I was just about to buy something and move along. That bracelet, Zarthix said, pointing with one elegant claw. Where did you get it? Her hand instinctively moved to cover it, protective. It was my grandfather's. He passed it down to my mom and she gave it to me before she... Her voice caught. Before she died last year. It's all I have left of them. I'd never sell it no matter how much. Marcus Chen was your grandfather? Her eyes widened. You knew him? But that's impossible. He died 15 years ago and he never talked about knowing any... He saved my life, Zarthix interrupted, his voice thick with emotion. 43 years ago, your grandfather saved my life when he had every reason not to. I gave him that bracelet as a promise that I have failed to keep. I don't understand. Zarthix straightened to his full height. The bracelet of eternal gratitude is linked to my genetic signature. For 43 years I have waited, hoping Marcus would use it if he ever needed help, but the signal has never activated. I thought perhaps he lost it or that he simply never needed me. He gestured at her threadbare clothes, the dark circles under her eyes. I was wrong. Humans are too proud for their own good. Tears welled in the young woman's eyes. Grandpa Marcus always said he met an alien once who was too grateful, that he gave him something valuable, but that using it would be taking advantage. Mom tried to tell him we needed help after he got sick, but he refused. He said the alien had already given him the most valuable gift, the memory of friendship across the stars. Zarthix felt something break inside his chest. Of course that was what Marcus would say. "What is your name, child?" "Sarah Chen." "Well, Sarah Chen, your grandfather's honor may have prevented him from accepting what was freely offered, but I suspect he did not extend that prohibition to his descendants." Zarthix activated his personal banking interface, causing a holographic display to appear. "The bracelet is a beacon and a promise. You are family to me as he was, and I always pay my debts." Sarah stared at the numbers appearing on the screen. Enough credits to buy a small ship or fund a lifetime of comfortable living. "I can't. This is too much." "It is not nearly enough," Zarthix said firmly, "but it is a start. I also happen to own a mining company that needs a human consultant. We've been trying to expand to human colonies, but we don't understand your people well enough. The position pays extremely well, includes full housing and medical benefits, and requires someone with integrity and strength, qualities your grandfather had in abundance, and which I suspect run in your family." Sarah looked down at the bracelet, then back up at the alien billionaire, tears streaming freely now. "He talked about you, you know. On his deathbed. He said he once met an alien who understood what it meant to be good. He hoped the galaxy had more beings like you." Zarthix's translator couldn't quite capture the emotion in his reply, but Sarah heard it anyway. "The galaxy has more humans like your grandfather. That is why your species frightens and amazes us. You give everything and expect nothing. You save strangers and ask for no reward. You call it being human. We call it impossible." He extended his clawed hand. "Come, we have 43 years of friendship to catch up on, and I will not fail your family again." Sarah took his hand, the bracelet gleaming on her wrist, a promise kept across decades, a bond between species that no distance could break, and somewhere perhaps Marcus Chen was smiling.